The Stress of Motherhood by Chaffin. In the eyes of a child, mother is God. Without this dedicated relationship, who do daughters have to look up to and rely on when they need help the most? A mother should not feel obligated to show care for her daughter or push her beyond limits, but rather this relationship should come instinctively and be cherished. In the stories I Stand Here Ironing by Tilly Olson and Two Kinds by Amy Tan, a theme of a straining relationship between the daughter and mother and its effects is prevalent throughout. As each daughter looks for acceptance among their family, each mother blindly neglects their daughter's needs or pushes the child to become someone more than what she desires or is prepared for. Each story may present a different obstacle for the child to overcome, but in the end, the child is the one to make the final impact. As each daughter breaks away from her mother, it is their newly discovered individuality that brings them back once more, with each author describing the development of regret and disappointment held by the mothers and inputting symbols that convey a tone of distance. A theme of the unspoken burdens of motherhood is expressed. As year after year passes in the shoes of Emily and Jean May, both daughters begin to realize the circumstances they are put under. With Emily feeling the neglect of her mother, as she is constantly stationed in someone else's care or being left alone at nights, the young child becomes aware of the different forms of affection she is receiving. While her mother is ignoring the proper care and responsibility she owes to Emily, her first child begins to take hold of her isolation and pursue a talent no one expected of her. As the now regretful mother states, now suddenly she was somebody. As imprisoned in her difference as she had been in obscurity, Emily pushes through this conflict of gaining the attention she deserves to bring out the individuality she has been hiding for so long. Similar to Emily's breakthrough relationship, Jean May encounters a discovery of who she truly is as her mother becomes over-persistent in her golden razor prodigy. Talent after talent, Jean May starts to feel the overwhelming pressure to become the next Shirley Temple. Eventually, her mother breaks and wears down the relationship until a failure seems like the only answer to stop the unwavering cruelty. So now, when my mother presented her tests, I performed listlessly. My head popped on one arm. I pretended to be bored. Seeing the piano as the last trick from the hat, the controlling mother pushes and pushes Jean May to a point in which her spirit falls to the earth. Failure after failure, Jean May is done pretending to be someone she never wanted to resemble. You want me to be something that I'm not, I sobbed. I'll never be the kind of daughter you want me to be. At the end of the day, the lonely child reclaims her independence, as she ultimately loses the grip her mother held onto for so long to become who she was destined to be. Unlike my mother, I did not believe I could be anything I wanted to be. I could only be me. There is no worse feeling than that of being a disappointment to your parents. But when parents make it common to put you in this position, the only way out is to declare your personality. Along with the conditions these mothers inflict upon their children, it is their reactions that solidify the damaged bonds. Although both daughters have comparable patterns of expressing themselves, the mothers react differently according to their child. As Emily's mother begins to relive the past through her phone conversation, she takes hold of her guilt and recognizes that as she stands here ironing, what you asked me moves tormented back and forth with the iron. Regret of not being there for her firstborn begins to set in as she blames her mistakes on being a young mother, a distracted mother. Valid excuse or not, these burdens of parenthood displace both individuals. In the same way, Jean May's mother lacks the ability to know when her young child requires the attention she deserves. Consequently, being prone and obsessed with having a child phenomenon strains the identity of Jean May. Even after as a parent, Jean May took no pleasure in satisfying these large demands. Her mother made it her duty to convey discontent, as her expression devastated me, a quiet, blank look that said she had lost everything. Rather than comforting her child with love as every mother should do, disappointment is the only type of affection Jean May receives. No matter the cost, the unreasonable mother is willing to sacrifice the relationship with her daughter to fulfill her own desire. Whether it is distraction and youthfulness of the parent, or frustration of not meeting expectations, both mothers alienate their daughters to where distance seems to be the most comfortable option for both parties. Beyond the discovery of self-identity and reactions each mother embraced, the symbols found in the short stories display the author's strive for reconciliation. With Emily's mother ironing throughout the piece, it is easy to see the ironing board and iron as her attempt to straighten out her relationship and newly discovered guilt, while the dress represents Emily's nature. Only help her to know. Help it make it so that there is cause for her to know that she is more than this dress on the ironing board, helpless before the iron. At each sweep of the iron, she aims to mold Emily a new life without the wrinkles of regret and fear. On the other hand, Two Kinds presents the piano sheet music of Pleading Child and Perfectly Contented Jimei commonly played at stages of life she encounters. Pleading Child was shorter but slower. Perfectly Contented was longer but faster. And after I had played them both a few times, I realized they were two halves of the same song. After many years of avoiding the dreaded instrument, Jimei returns to finally play once more, and realizes each piece resembles a part of her life. Pleading Child comes across as her willingness to break away from the constant pressure at an early age, while Perfectly Contented is the satisfaction with her current life. Separated at first, these two pieces of music become whole to describe both of parts of Jimei's relationship with her mother. While it may seem both stories are parallel to each other, they differ in the way they are told, as well as contrasting in the relationship between the daughter and mother. Whereas I stand here ironing is recounted with the use of flashbacks to convey a sense of awareness. Two Kinds is told in chronological order to suggest dedication to one's ongoing principle. As mentioned earlier, Emily's mother shows remorse for not having the time and effort to care for her daughter as she wished. As for Jimei, no matter the pain she felt, her mother would never budge in full repentance, and she made it apparent. Only one kind of daughter can live in this house: obedient daughter. No matter the circumstance the daughters were placed under, both prevailed through their hardships by asserting their selfhood. In the end, it was Emily's and Jimei's decision to spring their individuality that showed the true hardship of motherhood and its effect on a relationship. A relationship brought on by carelessness and discontent does not define oneself. It is their character that responds to these adversities that makes them stronger.